When I sit down and talk about coups, what comes into your mind? Because personally, a long time ago, before the coming or before the experiencing of Ibrahim Traore and the Sahel region, talking about Goita and talking about Chiani, before I get the experience, when anybody could talk about coup, or rather mention coup, everything that would come into my mind was roughness, dictatorship, and harshness and things like those ones. Because according to me, I understand that before a country is taken over through coup d'etat, it is where now a country has gotten to a point where it cannot govern itself anymore. Okay, leaders have gotten to a point where they cannot lead a country anymore. It has overwhelmed them. It has been difficult for them. Either people are complaining in that country and those leaders are not seeing, or other people, either people are complaining in that country, but leaders have not been able to actually minimize that situation. They have not been able to take that situation, to minimize that situation, or to control the situation. That is when now the coup has to take over the country, because the country cannot fall when the military are there. So when military take over a country, when they come to that country, like when they have taken over a country, they lead the country the way they want, however they want, and nobody has to question military. Because if you cannot be questioning military, if that time you want to use to question military, or that, or rather that advice you want to use to maybe advise military, you would have used that energy to advise the government that was there before it messed up the country. Okay, or maybe rather the people before they mess up the country. And that is why people really fear coup taking place in any country. People fear when militaries are leading a country. Okay, people really fear. That's why sometimes you'd hear people saying, when a military take over a country is likely to get in trouble, a country is likely not to be led well. Then that is what people say. Okay, but after we have had an experience with the Sahel, after we have had an experience with Ibrahim Traore, the Goita, and Tiani, after we have had an experience with those three, now we can be able to say, we can sit down and tell people that coup does not only it does not only participate, or rather engage in bad activity, in rough activities, or maybe beating people up and teaching people some lessons that they never learned before. It is not all about them leading people, maybe when they are very strict. Okay, because when we see Ibrahim Traore and when we see the government that he is leading right now, it's a government that is actually doing the things that even the president of that country was not a coup. He wasn't a military. He was just a president, but he was unable to do all those things that the military of Burkina Faso, led by Ibrahim Traore, they are doing now. And that is why we say these are not coup d'etats, but they are revolutionary leaders, because of the work and the kind of the activities they're engaging themselves in. They're helping people. They are concerned about the interests of people. They're helping the needy. They're building schools. They're building hospitals. They're building roads. They're walking around to see people who are poor and they need help. That is the work they are doing. Okay, we have never seen for a very long time a coup that has been doing things in that way. Okay, we had Thomas Sankara, who was in Burkina Faso. Thomas Sankara was eliminated. He was the same person. He was also one of the people who performed and who did coup in Burkina Faso. And without further ado, let's watch this video. And then after watching this video, we shall come back here and talk about it.
These are not coup d'etats. These are revolutions. They are revolutions because it has become obvious that those who are lackeys of France in the Sahelian region were manipulating the electoral process, were using institutions such as the judiciary for purposes of perpetuating the French agenda. And that these young men from the military came out and said, no, when the people cannot do it through traditional revolution, we are going to do it through the barrel of the gun and use the institution of the military to change the equation. And they have changed the equation. How have they changed the equation? First, They are saying we are cutting political ties with Paris. Secondly, we are cutting economic ties with Paris. We are getting out of any organization which is led by France. We are cutting off the situation that compels us to use currency that is printed in France. We are ensuring that our resources are going to be refined, and they are entering into arrangements with a number of countries, including Russia and China, to begin to build institutions and installations that are going to refine their uranium, refine their gold, so that there is value addition. What is happening in the Sahelian region is, in my submission and in the view of many independent commentators, the beginning of the total liberation not only of those countries but the former French colonies. And it is not lost on me that the leaders of those countries are sending a very clear message. They are sending the message that any institution which makes the claim that is a Pan-African institution but is being controlled from outside will be defied. I remember that day, the day after the coup d'etat in Niger, and I remember the meetings that were held in Accra, Ghana, the meetings that were held in Abuja, Nigeria, the meetings that gave a 72-hour ultimatum to Niger and said, we are going to invade you, not in so many words, but we are not going to allow you. I remember the sanctions that were imposed upon Niger. And I remember all the three leaders, Traoré in Burkina, and I remember the new leaders in Niger. I remember the leaders in Mali saying, we are now entering into a military pact. You attack Niger, you have attacked Mali, you attack Burkina, you have attacked Mali, and you have attacked Niger, and of course, even Doumbouya in Guinea-Conakry said, we will join you. That is a new face. It is a face that was not contemplated, and the Sahelian revolution, because it is a revolution, is beginning to redefine how former French colonies are relating with France at the critical levels, including the area of trade, including control of their militaries, including control of their language. And it is not lost on me that in Mali, they have actually declared that French is no longer the national language. Bambara is now the national language. It is a clear statement that they are beginning to regain their independence, and they are doing it in a manner that was not anticipated and in a manner that was not contemplated. It begs the question, will the men in uniform continue to be in power until kingdom come? No. They have said in Burkina, they have said in Niger, they have said in Mali, they have said in Guinea-Conakry, we are midwives. We have come here for a short time to clean up the mess that has been with us. We have come here to clean up the mess that the French have always created. We have come here to ensure that the insurgency, which is sponsored by the French in Burkina Faso, which is sponsored by them in Mali, which is sponsored by them in Niger, which is sponsored by them in Guinea-Conakry, that this insurgency will eliminate it and will introduce a new system of governance which will allow the peoples of our country to participate in their governance without being controlled from Paris. They are saying that we have been puppets for too long. We are now regaining our independence, and this revolution is a revolution which is unique, is a revolution which is being defined and refined by young Africans whose agenda is the spirit of Pan-Africanism. The Sahelian revolution is a revolution which will change the continent of Africa and redefine Africa's relationship with the former colonizers. In order to understand the Sahel, we must go back to the year 1958, when Charles de Gaulle governed France. And when Charles de Gaulle and his administration took the decision that their former colonies would be granted independence, and asked that they vote no or yes. Yes, to mean that you would regain something called independence, but you would remain under France. No, to mean that the French would run away. Only two countries voted no: Algeria under Ahmed Ben Bella and Guinea under Ahmed Sékou Touré. The rest of the countries remained under the tutelage of France and have remained so, controlled politically and economically, including their currency, the CFA franc. So that recently, in the 21st century, when young men in the military took the decision that they would change things, it was something that shocked the French and shocked the world. Shocked the French because they said, we are now gaining our independence. What we had was not independence. And I listened so very keenly to Doumbouya in Guinea-Conakry. I listened very keenly to Aïta in Niger. I listened very keenly to Traoré in Burkina Faso, and their message was clear. There are those who said within ECOWAS that Mali must not, when we talked about Mali at that time, they said Mali must be expelled from ECOWAS. And they came and they warned that they were going to attack Mali, but the Malians said, no, we are going to protect our newly acquired independence. The same message came from Guinea, the same message came from Niger, the same message came from Burkina Faso, and there is now unanimity within the Sahel that the time is now to redefine their relationship with France particularly. Let us understand why that redefinition of relationship is important. It is important at two levels, at the political level and at the economic level. We start with Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a country that was formerly known as Upper Volta. When via coup d'etat, Thomas Isidore Sankara took power in 1983, he said we must rename our country. And he renamed the country Burkina Faso. And he renamed the people the Burkinabe, the country of upright men. And he said that the time has come that we must be totally liberated from France. France has controlled how we conduct our politics. France has controlled what we sell and what we buy. France controls our money. France controls our everything. And he redefined everything. And within 5 years, we now know that Thomas Sankara and Burkina Faso as a country were liberating themselves and were capable of feeding themselves. He said we must take charge of our gold, we must take charge of our uranium. But within 5 years, in 1987, they had induced Blaise Compaoré to assassinate him. And this is always important to remember. When Isidore Sankara was told that you are going to be assassinated and the possible assassin is Blaise Compaoré, he said, Blaise is my friend. If it is Blaise whom they have hired to kill me, then I will not survive. And he did not survive. France controls the Sahel because of our resources. Then, of course, Niger. Niger is a country that is known for her uranium. Niger is a country that is known for our resources, and we know for a fact that even some of the nuclear tests that have been undertaken by the French have been undertaken in the deserts of the Sahel region. We know that that particular area is rich in all manner of resources, and the Nigerians took the decision that we are going to change this. When the coup happened, one of the things that was most frustrating was that a decision was taken that Niger must be treated differently, and people don't understand why ECOWAS reacted in the manner that it did. It was uranium. It was the uranium that is not only used in France, but is used in different parts of the world for nuclear facilities. And Niger sits upon uranium that has value that is inestimable. And the idea to ensure that Niger was ostracized from the ECOWAS community was at the behest of the French. And it is important that the Sahelians have taken the vow that they are going to protect Niger. Outside of Niger, we are also aware that the Malian regime with Assimi Goïta, who is the current president, have taken the decision that they are going to ensure that Mali, even with the sponsored insurgency, is going to remain a country that is independent. And it is not lost on me that Mali is the home of one of the most important freedom fighters in Africa, Modibo Keïta. So the spirit of Modibo Keïta is now resurgent in Assimi Goïta, and we can see that that particular country is also moving in the direction of ensuring that they are liberated from French domination. And once again, we know that Mali is a country that has a long history with Sondiata Keita, with Mansa Musa, and the Niger River flows there and supplies oil. And in the areas such as Timbuktu in northern Mali, we know that there are major resources. The same with Guinea-Conakry, which may not be described as being specifically in the Sahel, but is one of the countries that is supporting the activities that are going on in the Sahel to the extent that they are redefining how Europe, particularly France, relates with Africa. Which begs the question, what is new in Sahel? What is happening in the Sahel that is new? Is it a revival of Pan-African spirit? Is it something that is going to change the complexion of that region and by extension change the complexion of the world? Commentators are now saying that while many are quick to characterize the changes in the Sahel as coup d'etats, and therefore against the African Union declaration that Africa will not entertain non-unconstitutional changes of power, Pan-Africanists and those who know how France is operating and has operated say these are not coup d'etats, these are revolutions.
Welcome back again. You have seen what P.L.O. Lumumba has said. P.L.O. Lumumba is a man who is a Pan-Africanist, and most of the times you'll find P.L.O. Lumumba defending Africa and talking about, is always interested about the issues of Africa, okay, about African interests and African people. That is what P.L.O. Lumumba is all about. And P.L.O. Lumumba is saying, whatever we are seeing in Burkina Faso, it is something that we have longed to see it for a very long time. Like we've longed to see it, and therefore, this is not even coups, because the things and the work that the Sahel is doing is greater and it's bigger, and that is why we cannot sit down and say, you see, these are coup, because we are used to coup that is rough, coup that is strict, coup that it leads people anyhow, and nobody can question military. Do you know military? People don't even question military. Military do whatever they want. And that is why in a state of a country, whenever a country is in a bad state, policemen in uniform, common policemen, the GSU, other regular police, are the ones who are being used to make sure they are minimizing a situation that is in a certain country. But when the situation has really overwhelmed them, is when they bring in the militaries. And when militaries come, they always come to make things under control, to put things under control. Those ones, you don't mess up with them. And that is why a lot of people don't like coups happening in countries, because they say when coup happens, the country is normally led at a very bad way, and those people don't even sympathize with anybody. That is what they do. That's what people say. But this one we are seeing in Burkina Faso, it's not coup. This one is those are revolutionalists. Those are the people we are seeing in Burkina Faso. They have come in with by the in the they have come because they want to transform Africa. They want to liberate Africa. The reason they are leading, the reason they took power, it's because they saw things that were happening in the government. They were things that were not impressive, and therefore they decided to come and take over, because they had another vision, and they thought they can make things right, and indeed they are making things right now. If you want if you want to eliminate those people from power, even the people from Burkina Faso, if you really want to get maybe to have indifferences with the Burkinabe people, just mess up around with Ibrahim Traore, because even when election was supposed to be undertaken, people flew like they bombed the streets, and they really complained that they want Ibrahim Traore to continue serving as the president of Burkina Faso. And so, if he would be performing the things that coups normally perform, I don't think if there is anybody would be wanting Ibrahim Traore to continue staying in power up to this moment. So what we are seeing in Burkina Faso, that is not coup. What we are seeing in Burkina Faso, as P.L.O Lumumba has said, that is those are revolutionaries. Talk of Tiani, talk of Abdurrahmani, talk of Goita, and talk of Ibrahim Traore. Those are revolutionalists, okay? Not coups. Because if coup takes place, we know what happens, and these people are leaders. These people have the interests of people. They know what they're doing in power. They know why they came in power, and therefore we are congratulating them. We are asking them to continue doing the same things, because we have really suffered under the hands of the white supremacy. France still wants to invade in Africa. Now I see that they want to go to Djibouti. I don't know what are they agreeing with Djibouti. But these people have really invaded in Africa. They've gotten a lot of things from Africa. They still want to rule over us. And that is one thing that we really don't want. We have said no to it. We've come to the end of it. And if another coup will come and want to take place and behave the way Ibrahim Traore and Goita and Abdurrahmani are behaving, then we are asking for many of them to come and take over. Even in Kenya, if you know you're going to do what Ibrahim Traore is doing and you want to take over the country of Kenya, take over the country of Kenya, because the country of Kenya right now is in a very bad state. And I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. But everybody knows. Even the foreign countries knows. Even our neighboring countries knows that Kenya is in a very bad state right now. And therefore, we want leadership. We don't want politics 24/7, politics everywhere, politics now and then, politics where. That is not what we want. We want leadership. We want a government where people are listened to and people are attended to. That is the kind of a country that we want. And as P.L.O Lumumba has put it, it is not the coup d'etats. It is the revolutionaries who are leading the Sahel region. And we are looking forward, we are asking for every revolutionary, every people who wants to become revolutionaries, all of them, even if they are politicians that have decided to change their ways, come in, join Ibrahim Traore, join Goita, join Abdurrahmane, join the Sahel region, and let's bring a change in Africa. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is African Streamline. I tell you every day, when you find yourself in African Streamline, just know you're at home and don't even shake yourself. Just tune in, stay there, and wait for more, as they are coming all the times. Africa and Nyumbani, Africa is home. Anything that concerns Africa concerns me and you as black people, black brothers and sisters from diaspora, Caribbean and Africa. I love you guys so much. I want to wish you all the best as you're looking forward to do whatever you want to do. Thank you so much. Adios.